Hello and welcome back to Cuisine Critiques, the content where everyday people like you and I can critique restaurants and eateries. This past weekend, we were in Richmond, Virginia for an evening, and as we made our way to our hotel, the Courtyard Marriott, the sky opened up, and I mean it poured down. The Courtyard Marriott is downtown. The streets are made of cobblestones, and it just opened up. So when we got to the hotel, we did not know that they didn't have their own parking, that it was valet parking, and they used another facility for $32 a night. The no-brainer was that there was a parking structure across from it that was $14. And after all the rain, we decided to just stay in for the evening. So though we didn't use the valet parking, they had a very nice valet person who began to tell us about some of the local restaurants, including the one that was in the hotel. I didn't see anything in the hotel. So we decided to walk over to an Irish pub that the valet had pointed out. It was not a plan. I knew nothing about an Irish pub, nor did I ever assume that I would ever go to an Irish pub. So we initially went over to the pub to see if some of the dishes that the valet said that we could call and order. I don't know if that's fact, but once we got over there, we decided to stay at the eatery. The Irish pub is called, the pronunciation is called Sin A. It is spelled S-I-N apostrophe E, pronounced Shin A. In English, like I said, an Irish pub. Once we got inside, we thought about it. Instead of getting takeout and taking it back to the room and eating and putting it in the room and getting rid of the trash, we decided to stay at the pub itself. We were seated at a nice window seat. The pub itself looked very authentic, or as authentic as you can see in some of the BBC and Acorn shows that we look at. It looked very authentic, complete with some of the wood carvings and such. And we were offered a menu by a very nice, I don't remember if he gave us his name, but he was a very nice waiter. And if he sees this, it's the guy with the pink hair. Or anyway, as we looked through the menu, of course, it has Irish dishes as well as some American dishes. And though I really had given thought to the bangers and mash dish that was there, of course, again, hearing it on some of the shows and series that we look at, I gave it a consideration. But to be honest with you, we played it safe, both of us. We decided to get the fish and chips. But for her, as you might learn on some of my things, there are things that my wife likes and doesn't like. She doesn't like skin on her French fries. And he said there was skin on her French fries, so she opted for the garlic mashed potatoes. So we made our order. We don't do alcohol, but we didn't even go with soft drinks. We just opted for water and started having a conversation, looking around at a little people watching at who was in the restaurant. A couple things that we thought of with the fish and chips is that that it would probably be a quick fix. And though the establishment didn't seem overly crowded, we did take a while to get our dish. And though we remarked on it, as is the thing between me and wife, we have good conversations about things, people, what was going on while we were in Richmond and such. So eventually our food did come. The waiter did check on us a couple times, let us know that it was coming. But our food did come, and we were a little surprised at when the dish of fish and chips came. In most restaurants, you get maybe 3 or 4 rectangle pieces of fish. I've had some good fish and chips at different places, and since we're not talking about them, I won't bring those up. But we were very surprised when our fish and chips came, in that it wasn't 3 or 4 smaller pieces, but 2 very large pieces of fish. Of course, like I said, I had mine with fries, so that came. And I was pleasantly surprised. The fish had the coating was very crunchy. The fish itself was very flaky, seasoned very well. And as I went through the meal, I finished the meal, and by the time I got to the end of the second piece of fish, it still was maintaining some of its temperature. The French fries were very good. Like I say, I'm a French fry guy. I will say, and I've said, the worst French fries I've ever had was at the Washington Zoo, but that was decades ago. I hadn't got them since, but the French fries were very good. My wife was also as pleasantly surprised by the large pieces of fish, and she definitely enjoyed them. The garlic mashed potatoes, she found out when they came that they did have little pieces of skin in them, so she did not eat them, but I tried them. They were pretty good. By the time I got to them, they were a little cold. They were probably better when they were hot. And as far as the lateness of getting the food, there was a family that was sitting up away from us, up incline of steps, and they were there when we got there, so they had received their food just shortly before we received ours. So I'm not sure whether it was lack of help in the kitchen or such. Like I said, it didn't seem overly crowded. I don't remember any music. Now looking back, I do remember hearing a lot of conversations, and looking back at the picture, there is some outdoor seating, which I'm sure they didn't use because it was raining cats and dogs in the back. But again, because we were having a conversation, it wasn't terrible, but it was noticeable as far as the meal. But definitely getting the meal was well worth it when we got the meal. I did see the family that had received their meals before us. We saw some of their dishes. They looked very ample in what they were getting. So they don't skimp on the amount of food that they give you. I actually thought that it ran through my mind that once we had this, I could probably get a dessert, because I'm big on stuff like that. But after finishing the fish and the chips and a little bit of the garlic mashed potatoes, I didn't crave anything else for the evening. Like I said, we were safe doing the fish and chips. We're playing it safe, but we saw some more dishes, and to be honest with you, I don't know if I would have ever thought about trying an Irish pub. I do like, say when I traveled for my former job that I retired for in 2012. I did travel quite a bit with the government, and I took to trying local restaurants in the different cities that I went to. I mean, it didn't make sense for me back then. Of course, traveling with my wife is something else, but it didn't make sense for me to go to Texas and go to a Applebee's or a Fridays. I could have did that here. So I learned to find out what the local flavor was and try that. The Riverwalk in San Antonio, Papados, also in Texas. So things like that. So if it hadn't been for the rain, we probably would have ventured out. Being downtown, we passed a couple establishments that, I guess, for the rain, it didn't look like there was a large amount of people going and coming, but of course it was the rain, so we may not have seen that. But long story short, the Sin A is local to Richmond. I looked at a little research, and it looked like they may have had another location up in Arlington or Alexandria, but apparently that's closed. It's just this one location now. But long story short, again, I wasn't disappointed in the meal. The fish was very flavorful. I like fish and chips where you get a good crunch. The fish was flaky, very well seasoned. And the sides, which were the chips, definitely was a good thing. So, though it was unplanned to really venture out to a restaurant, though an Irish pub probably would not have been on my radar, I am glad that I did try it. At some point, I do want to probably get authentic bangers and mash. I'm not in Richmond a lot. It's one of my old stomping grounds. I've had family and friends there, though I don't know when I will get back to Richmond to do that. But that doesn't mean that I won't eventually seek out a Irish pub, and I'm sure some's here in Baltimore, though I have not researched it, to maybe get some authentic bangers and mash and see how it is. With bangers and mash, I mean, it's mashed potatoes, sausage, served with a side of beans. So it's nothing mystical in it, but it is a traditional dish that I would like to try. So again, Sin A is located in Richmond, Virginia. It is at 1327 East Carey Street in Richmond, downtown Richmond. If you are in the Richmond area and you do stay at the Courtyard Marriott, they were maybe 3 other hotels around that area. I can't remember them offhand. But if you are in that area or in just downtown Richmond for whatever, and the prospect of eating at a Irish pub is something that you would like to try, then head on over to Sin A. It was, like I say, it was a lot of conversations, but the atmosphere was nice. The waiter was very attentive. The food did take a while to get there, but that probably wasn't the fault of the waiter, because when we got the food, it was hot. It wasn't like it sat and got cold. So for whatever reasons that it took a while to get the food, it was worth it when we received it. So again, Sin A, spelled S-I-N apostrophe E, located in downtown Richmond. As I have said before, this is my experience with the restaurant. Yours may be different, so try it out. Again, thank you for tuning in for this episode of Cuisine Critiques. Thank you. Have a nice evening or day whenever you're watching this, and be blessed. Thank you.